this, and like it's the seasons of slow is you got to push through those and look towards the future for that. So yep.
Absolutely. Okay, so before Tim takes it with the SEO tips, I'm just going to give you a brief history of how him and I have worked together, because we've worked together very closely and for a couple of years now. When I started selling on Etsy, I've told you it felt like an outlet for my entrepreneurial spirit. I felt like I had something here. I was so excited to start talking about it. So I used the Etsy forums, and I would write a thread like how I made 100 sales this month, or how I did all these kind of things. I started writing blog posts, but I didn't really realize that they were blog posts yet. So I did one of how I made, I don't know, maybe 500 sales in 3 months. And I put all the steps down, and then I put it in the Etsy forums, which I wouldn't go near the Etsy forums now. I don't feel welcome there. I don't know what it is. I feel like I'm fresh meat in a Shark Tank when I go on the Etsy forums. I don't know what it is about them. But I put it in there, and it stayed active for days. A lot of people were commenting on it. A lot of people were using it. And at the time, I kind of had a personal blog. I was playing with it, but I had never talked shop like that. I just wanted to say it so bad. That message was spilling out of me, and I started putting it in the Etsy forums. So one day, I get this outrageous amount of traffic to my Etsy shop, and I think to myself, what could be going on? What has happened? And all of the traffic was coming from handmadeology.com. So I went there to find that Tim had turned my thread story into an actual blog post, credited it, linked back there, linked to the energy shop, and was sending all of this traffic in all different ways. You know, I've told that story before, but it was because of that instance that I realized there was an outlet for that. It was because of that day that I realized, oh, I could have a blog and talk shop all day long. It's actually what started marketing creativity. As soon as I realized how well it did, I started writing blogs in that format. And that's when I started guest posting and working with Tim. And then over the years, we've done things like courses together where we've helped people build better creative businesses, and we work together really well. And so that's how we know each other. So I want to thank you again, Tim, for joining us. I think I couldn't talk Etsy without bringing you on and having a little bit back and forth with you, because we've come such a long way together. And I love your success, and I wish you the best. So I'm going to hand it over to you so you can teach us some SEO.
Awesome. Thank you, Lisa. And I love that story, because it was just this random, I was just like, hey, looking for content, looking for those 5 articles a day. And I was like, man, this is an awesome post. I'm going to take that from the public space and credit it to Lisa. And I didn't even know who you were. So that was awesome. And here we are today. So, all right, guys.
No.
right, exactly. All right. Can't see my face. So, all right, guys. So today we actually have some shops that you guys submitted, and some of you guys in the audience, I don't know who you are. I have your names and I have your shops, but what we're going to talk about today. So yeah, I have this shop. Is Vanessa's. So and we're going to check this out. We're going to check out some SEO tips, and these SEO tips are going to be SEO, so search engine optimization for the Etsy search, and also at the same time it's going to be for Google and search engines and things. So as you're doing these things for the like the Etsy search, and getting all in there, and they change it all the time, just like Google does. But there's some key things that we want to look at and understand right away. So the very first thing that you want to look at is getting in here and checking out your. And I don't know how this is going to show up on that screen, but hopefully it looks good.
It's showing up well. It's doing well.
Okay, awesome. So our very first thing is going to be our shop title. All right, and this is so super important for SEO, because this is actually telling Google and search engines what your shop is all about. All right, so let's look at this one really quick, just kind of critique it. For the self-expressive soul living on the fringe. So that really doesn't tell anything to Google, like what this shop is all about. So so the key here, guys, there's only I think it's like 70 characters or something. It's pretty small, but you can only put in a little bit there. But you want to make sure might be 60 characters, but you want to make sure that your keywords that you're trying to rank for are in there. And when I say rank, I mean when somebody types in like fringe hangings or something like that, like that's an example on the side here, but when they type that in, you want to be found. So you want to make sure that this makes sense for your keywords. All right. So and then we're gonna look at these. We're gonna look at these key things, and I'm gonna actually go into the page source and show you where these things actually exist. All right. So the next thing that we want to take a look at. Yes.
Can I ask you a question? So if we're looking at this shop, and this is Vanessa's shop, Crafter Day.
Yeah.
So if we're looking at this and we're looking at that tagline, it's okay to get a little creative there, right? So you can say wall hangings. You can say fringe wall hangings for the self-expressive soul. You're still doing it with creativity, but you're also appealing to the SEO of it all.
Exactly. And you want that to make sense, because in the Google listing of your shop, like it's going to be a sentence.
Yes.
And you want to see how that shows up. I think Etsy has it in the admin area where it shows you what your shop, which it's going to look like. But yeah, you can be creative there, but you want it to make sense. So like, yes, I would say I would put a keyword in there, and whatever that is maybe it's fringe hangings, like you said, for the self-expressive soul. Yeah. So so check that out, change that up, get those keywords in there. So the next place we want to look at, and so this is super important, guys. So this is your shop announcement. Everybody loves to mess around with this, okay? And change it up and like put their fancy little these little icons in there. All right, see these little, they're not even icons, they're just dots and things and lines. But this is the actual meta description of what your shop really is. And so when you put these in there, it doesn't really make sense in Google's eyes at all, or any search engine for that matter. So this here, in the first 120 characters in this shop announcement, we want to tell Google, we want to tell people what our shop is all about. Okay. And so I like how she has some links here to her, actually right to her shop. That's fine. But the thing is, guys, everybody likes to put in their they like to put in their sales and things right at the top and right at the beginning so people can see it. But the problem is when every time you change that, it changes your metadata information. So then, therefore, Google has to come back, and when they recrawl it, you're going to lose ranking because you're changing that data. Yeah.
Can we stay right there for a minute?
Sure.
So a lot of people do this, and I like the way it looks down below because it's really block lettering. It's really helping her other links stand out. Is the entire shop announcement going to be red, or are we just worried about the top? Can she do this down below, but then just make the top more relevant?
Yes. That first 120 characters, whatever it is, it's 120, 160, something like that. But if you keep that the same all the time, it will not be affected because it's the same information. It's not going to be recrawled. So yes, the stuff that's below it, Google really doesn't even really look at it because it's just not in those characters. But yeah, I mean, for sure, have like the follow me stuff, have like links to like, I don't know, some of your things that are on sale. Do whatever you want to do. Link to your about page, whatever that is in that shop announcement. Just keep it below those 160 characters.
Hey, Tim.
Sure. Yeah.
This is Lily, the host here at Creative Live.
How you doing, Lily?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Hi. Good.
So, amazing information. Thanks so much for being here. I was wondering if you could maybe zoom in on some of the specific wording you're using, so we can see it more clearly on the screen here.
And Let me see if I can. Yeah.
Okay, so if you look at that, oh, that's nice, Tim. Good job.
Okay. Cool.
Very nice. You know, if you were, so just to hit that tip, because I liked what you said, that the first two, I'd say, you said 120 characters. I'd say maybe like the first one or two sentences. That's all business. That needs to be keyword rich. That needs to be descriptive. But we're allowed to play down below. And it doesn't matter what we do, because also, how often do shop announcements get open and read? It's also not that common that you do. Can you think of the last time you opened somebody else's shop announcement? I mean, I've done it, but I don't do it very often. So as long as you make that, you can play down below. I think that's important for us to know, because I like to segment. I like to put characters. I like to do things like that as well.
Absolutely. And make it look good, too. Like,
Yeah, that stands out. All of her different links stands out really nicely for me. So I would be able to